Hello and good morning, everyone. It's Michelle Maher here, and I'm here with Sarah Sparks this morning. Thank you so much, Sarah, for giving me your time to talk about these challenging times we're going through right now and how we can keep a positive mindset while pivoting in our business or just in our life.
Yes, well,
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for messaging me and asking me to be part of this. It's exciting. So I love just having conversations about it because it is so pertinent, so timely. So, yes, I am Sarah Sparks. I am the Soul's Guide to Freedom. I founded and I use my business as the vehicle to which people get to live their chosen path. So I channel people's chosen paths. We chose to come here as souls, or we were chosen to come here. So I just clarify what that reason is, and then help you be more intentional with that path. So that's me in a nutshell. I mean, I can go on, but I would like to talk more about what's going on.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you. And you are in the US too.
Yes.
Well.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, you're in Canada. Yes, right.
Which does, you have, it's a little bit different for you. We're not going to get into politics, but
I don't think we have to.
But it is different. Whereabouts again? Are you in?
I live in South Carolina.
Right. Okay.
I'm not from South Carolina, so I don't have
right.
The
You had
accent.
just recently moved there, I think, or when we spoke last.
Yes, that's correct. I did just recently move here. I'm from Iowa, lived in Florida for about 7 or 8 years, then moved back to Iowa to be close to family, and now we're here in South Carolina. So
okay. All right. Well, thank you again. So, so basically, just to give you a reference for this whole thing, I found when everything started to change and things were, for me, it started with live events that I had vendor tables booked at that were being postponed. And then it was kind of one after another, and then when the NBA announced that they were suspending the season and the other sports, the NHL and so forth, were to follow, that's when I found it really hit me that how serious this was, because sports never get canceled. So I found myself going down that tunnel of fear and that black hole, because the social media had gotten so negative and the grocery store lines and panic and fear had set in. And I really found myself, I was conscious of the fact that I was getting sucked into that fear and I didn't want to stay there. So I decided to start doing these interview series of talking to, because I knew that I know a lot of fabulous entrepreneurs that I could talk to, and they would share their expertise with everyone, and that's that's going to help everyone else get through it. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I think it was kind of, they announced closure of things, and then it was going to be 2 weeks, and school was closed till April 6th. So thought maybe it was going to be 3 weeks. Now, of course, it's for us, it's, I believe it's May 31st for us for school. I don't know what's happening. Our school goes till June 30th. I don't see them going back for a month, but that's me. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, we've kind of come and set into a new routine now, mm-hmm. which we're kind of getting used to. Initially, mm-hmm. there was that whole upset for the week and whatever, but I find now everybody's set into a new routine, and I think that's key. Mm-hmm. Routine is a key to getting up in the morning, getting dressed, fixing your hair, makeup if you want. Just gives you that boost of confidence and sets the tone for your day. What do you think? What's your perspective?
So I'm curious to know if these conversations with the entrepreneurs that you've been interviewing, has it been helpful to you? Has it gotten you out of that spot too?
Yes. Oh no, it definitely did. It definitely did help me. And the earlier conversations were talking a lot about fear and staying away from the news, not listening to the news, which is what I haven't done. But what I found at the beginning is everything was changing so quickly.
Yeah.
Like each day felt like it was 6 months long or something, because every hour there was new news, or this is closed, or this is closed, or something like that. I don't know, what was your experience like at the beginning of it?
I am not much of a news watcher as it is from.
That's good.
Like
That's
it's
good.
been probably 10 plus years since I've really watched anything on regular TV. I mean, I feel a little bit out of the norm because I have chosen to not be part of this world type of thing. I mean, not saying I'm like in this woo-woo la la land, just not participating in all of the drama, because I noticed that when I did, I would get stomach aches or anxiety or depression would start kicking in even before this. And I'm like, what is this really doing for me? Like what people are doing with their lives outside of my little bubble, what control do I have over what someone else is making the decision about? And so I just focus on, okay, what can I control? And those are my own thoughts. Like I can't control even my children or my husband, even in my own little world. I can only control my thoughts. And even at times, it's like, I can't really even control them. I can just let them flow in and out, and not buy into them. And so even in the beginning of this new experience, quarantine and things, I paid attention to what was going on with my daughter's school or what needed to be done for her. She just started kindergarten. I've got a 6-year-old and a 22-month-old. So the 22-month-old doesn't know what day it is, no matter what's going on. And honestly, for the last 2.5 years, I feel like I've been preparing for this. About 2.5 years ago, we moved from Florida to Iowa. And at that time, I saw a friend of mine start doing things online. And at that time, my business was in person, seeing, like, coaching people in my living room, taking their checks, like I had nothing online. I would go to networking meetings. Like I would give in-person presentations. I mean, everything was human contact.
Right.
And I'm like, I feel like there should be an easier way of doing this. And so I connected with my friend, and I ended up hiring her as a coach. Her name is Megan Huber. If anybody ever wants to go and connect with her, she's a great entrepreneur. And she just shared with me, like, hey, there's Facebook groups, there's ways to take payments online. Like, let's get you going. So I've been practicing being online, or just having my business. Everything is online. So I do group programs online. I do speaking online, take payments online, coaching online. Everything that I do is right here. So what you see is what you get. It makes things a whole lot easier. So even in the beginning, I didn't have to pivot or shift that much, because I did it 2.5 years ago.
Right. So that put you in a great position.
It did. And I mean, I feel for those who are just starting out now, and there's such a learning curve that comes with getting to know Zoom, or different groups, or social media, or video, or whatever. I mean, having the right lighting, or all the things that that go along with going online. So but just know that, like, what I guess I can share with others is just, you're in control of your own thoughts, and that's pretty much the only thing that you're in control of, And so if I believe that, okay, I am healthy, I am safe, I am whole, I'm complete, I do my work, I do my mental mindset work, that makes such a difference. So versus just letting my thoughts take over, and all the negativity could seep in. So
Exactly. And that's so true, that we are in control of our own thoughts, and it's a choice. And the fact is that I just lost my train of thought. So we are in control of our thoughts, And I think what happened, yeah, that was it. Initially, there was such a loss of control that I think that's when the fear really set in for a lot of people, because it was that flight mentality that set in because of that loss of control and loss of routines and just such uncertainty.
I have found it interesting, the concept and the wording of these uncertain times, because I learned a lesson. I mean, it was when I was still working for a public sector and I was going to go get my master's, and I got really bent out of shape because I wanted to have a concrete answer from the council that I was going to be the HR director for a city, for the city that I was working in after I got my master's. And I could be an HR assistant status as I was getting my master's. And I wanted this concrete answer. I wanted security. I wanted that control. I wanted it to be validated and like this, like I want it to be certain, like this is what's going to happen. And they were like, I can't guarantee that. There's just no guarantee that that's how it's going to flow in a year or so. And I left the meeting after sitting and listening to them talk for like 4 hours, and I gathered up all my stuff. And I remember being in like the back of my like trunk, putting in my bags for like the work day. And I was staring into my trunk being like, I am an extraordinary person doing ordinary things. Like, there has to be something different. I cannot let others control my outcome. And I like, there has to be some sort of certainty. And like, I think it's just interesting that when we think about uncertain times, there's always uncertain times. Like, we never are certain, like, we're going to make it home, that we're going to live another day, that, you know, we're going to stay married, that our children are going to be safe, that like, we're never certain about anything, but we think we are. We have this like imagination. Like I had this like such drive, like, this is certain. I am going to get my master's and I'm going to get this job. This is certain. And they just kept coming back at me like, no, it's not. It's not guaranteed. And like, I got that lesson right then and there. Like, all right, nothing is guaranteed in life and nothing is certain. All right, then what can I do? And it's like, all right, I can make these choices. So yeah, I hope that like helps. I know that's
no, that's so true. It's the perception. It's the perception of certainty, because even if they had told you had that job or whatever, after when you started, something could have happened right after that, and they could have said, you know, let you go or something.
Yeah.
So you're never really certain. I guess it's just the perception. Everybody perceives that everything is going to happen in a certain manner, and going forward it was, and now it's different. But the thing is that it's all up to you. It's choice. It's how you perceive this. The initial, you know, so many people perceive this as such a negative thing, but if you flip that around, the fact is there's such an opportunity here in so many facets. Mm-hmm. Whether it be opportunity with your family, opportunity for your health, opportunity for personal growth in your own, you know, for yourself, or opportunity to, you know, make some changes in your business that you've been wanting to do for a long time, or just you want to shift, you know, like embracing online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a learning curve, yes, but you've got the time to learn now.
I know. I have noticed, because I'm naturally an observer. I mean, since I have been little, I've just observed everything and everyone and how they're interacting with one another, and I love it. And what I've observed is that whatever we were questioning, we were wanting answers to, whether little things or big things, whatever it was, we're getting answers now. Like, the answers are coming to us and they're being shown to us. For example, if people need an example, my husband and I were like, should we homeschool our daughter? Should we not? She seems like she is moving really quickly through things. And what we learned is that she thrives on competition, and she thrives on competing with others in her own age group. And so if she doesn't have that, she's just kind of like, whatever. And I'm like, this is interesting. I would not have known that before. Or my sister, who owns a furniture store, really just wanted, she kept saying, I just want it to close. I just want it to close. Oh my God, it's just driving me nuts. And they're very successful, and they've owned multiple businesses, and they're very self-made success. And she's like, what I realized was I just need to step away from the business, let the managers do their thing, still have the business open. It really didn't need to be closed, and now it is closed. But I just needed to step away and do more like big thinking. Like she just needed to step away from like all the day-to-day. Yeah. And she needed to think bigger and stuff. So I just think that it's just cool. I just have to observe that those are just two examples, but other clients are sharing with me some other observations as well. So I hope that whatever you were questioning or wanting to do for quite some time, now everyone's getting the answers. So
yes, true. And there's so many resources online as well. So many people are stepping up with programs and webinars and helping others. There's such a sense of community, I find, as well, online, that has come as a result of this. At the same time, I've unfollowed a ton of people on Facebook where I never did before, but I don't want to see the negativity. I prefer to think of this as an opportunity, whether and a time to reflect and look inside yourself and decide if you were happier with the way you were living your life before.
Yes.
I think there's going to be a lot of people having developing new habits that they'll carry forward going forward to whatever the future is going to look like. Yeah, but at the same time, there'll be a shift in business, I believe.
Yeah. And I think it's all for the better. Like, I think it's, people are wanting to spend more time. I mean, at least some of my clients have said things like, I wish I could spend more time at home. I wish I could spend more time with my children. I wish that I could, work from home. I wish that, like all these like wishes, and they're getting to test the waters now and see. And businesses, like my husband used to be a CIO for an oil company, and that oil company was like very old school mindset thinking of like, no, you have to be in the office all the time. And he could do all of his work remotely, like if we were in Cancun and the server broke one time, or had a virus starting to attack it, he was able to log in and fix it all by his iPad, and they were like, how did you do that? And it's like, oh my goodness. So I think a lot of businesses will be able to pivot, and it will be beneficial to all involved.
I think so. And I agree with that. There's a lot of corporate mentality that is so old school, and it's like the whole adage, why are you doing it this way? Well, it's because we've always done it this way. And I think that's going to be out the window now, that kind of thinking. It's definitely more progressive thinking. And like you say, so many companies were anti-work from home, believe that only you could do it from in the office. And now, of course, everybody's been forced to. They've had to send, even call centers have had to send everybody home, and everybody's just working remotely. So, this is, everybody's embracing technology in a much greater manner than even before. And we already were, but.
And I also appreciate teachers and childcare so much more now. Oh my goodness. They do a phenomenal job. So I will not take them for granted ever again.
Yeah, right. I think that's funny you say that. That's something that people are feeling here as well. And we were just before this, the whole, we had gone through a period of time that the teachers were holding one-day strikes because their contracts were up. And so there was renegotiating happening, and all of that was even like, it was right before the shutdown. and they have since come to a deal, but that all, nobody even knows that, you know, that wasn't even in the news because that kind of got buried under all this stuff. But it's so funny that, you know, that happened right before. And now, of course, there's such an appreciation for the teachers, with people having to, you know, all be working from home, like both parents working from home, plus have the kids at home, and trying to navigate through that is a challenge.
When I don't want to say the corporation, but a corporation in, I think worldwide, maybe just in the United States, I have absolutely no idea. But this corporation encouraged people to bring their children to work, and especially when they were like infant to whatever, like I think like 1 or 2 or something, to make sure that they could still have the nutrients and bonding with the mother or father and all these things. And when I heard that, I was like, from working from home, like with children, like before all this happened, I was like, I couldn't focus for more than 15 minutes or 10 minutes. Or if I tried to work from home with doing this business with an infant, and she would sit on the floor next to me, and she's not here now, she's with daddy, but when she was like an infant, I mean, as soon as she would cry, I'd be like, oh, just a second, I need to so it's just I feel more productive when I'm able to focus for longer periods of time without those interruptions. I'm not saying that children are interruptions, so I just mean, I hope people get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, totally, I understand that for sure. And I think a lot of people are, a lot of the women entrepreneurs that I know are having some issues with that if they have kids in elementary school, because they're needing a lot more time even to navigate the technology and things like that. So yeah, it's there's some challenges for sure.
And it also coming out of this, what I am focusing on dealing in pertaining to children is having me be all of me all the time. Like if I am in a meeting and a child walks in, then not be uncomfortable with that, or me being the professional spiritual me around my children. Like it goes both ways. And so integrating that all of me into every area of my life, versus being like, when I come into this office, I am this person. And when I step into the kitchen, I'm this person. And when I'm in the bedroom, I'm another person, you know, like just being me in all areas. And I think that's at least my focus during this time, is integrating all of me into every aspect of my life.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I was talking to somebody about that as well. The whole concept before of work-life balance, and you know, work is here and life is here, family here, whatever. It's all, this is blurring the lines because you're at home working, your family's there, your kids can. There was something, one of the news, I think it was BBC News or something, he was doing the news and kid comes running in and another kid comes running in. And so it's just showing you that this, like, it's a whole life balance, and this is who you are, and it's all, you know, it's all a part of it, not separating the two anymore. It's not possible to, with technology and phones, and people are, you know, you're on call all the time now because you're reachable with the phone. It's like, it's a whole person thing.
I think it goes back to what you were saying of just being comfortable with who you are. And that's what people are experiencing is, you know, I'm having some alone time with my own thoughts. Am I okay with those thoughts? Am I okay with myself? I'm having some time, extra time with my family. How can I be the best me with them instead of just be the best me in my office, or vice versa, you know? So I think it's just you being comfortable with yourself. I like that.
Exactly, right. And before all this happened, everybody was going at such a pace that you never had time to stop and be present to, be present with your thoughts and things like that. No, it's always your mind would always be focusing on the next thing you had to do, or the next place you had to be, or something like that. And usually running behind. I know for me, it was always like, I never felt like I could catch up.
When you say pivot, it just gave me when you're the whole point of us is like talking about pivoting. And what I just was thinking about was, I think a better way to look at this when we're talking about being comfortable with ourselves. So instead of just pivoting, how about if we do elevating? I like, just elevating. So instead, that's still changing, it's still shifting. So instead of just pivoting 1 degree, looking in another direction, why don't we forget that direction and truly elevate our entire self? And I think that that's actually what is happening with everyone. If we're becoming comfortable with ourselves, we have to elevate and let go of who we thought we were to become who we actually are.
That's right. That's a great perspective as well. And that's what it is. You can't just isolate one thing and say work, my business, let's do the changes here. It's everything. It's you. It's just, making yourself a better person, whether it be, a wife, mother, business owner, just a community member as well.
Yeah.
Like we see the community coming together and people wanting to serve and help each other. We're working together as one big global community. That's why this is happening, I think, worldwide, just to show that we're all equal. And that's the other thing with this virus. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You're still at home in your house. And your money doesn't do anything to stop to make you any different than everybody else. And we see that with the all the musicians doing their concerts.
Yes.
Which is kind of nice, because we're seeing the inside of people's homes too. Like you're seeing them in their own environment, and it's just it's making everybody real.
It is. There was a program that came to me a few months ago, actually, that Spirit had given me, and it was Leveling Up, Becoming Real. And it's truly leading with your soul and being that soul and being that person. And now, in this time, it has given me time to level up and become real. And I realized, why Spirit gave me this idea and this program. It's like more people are wanting that. And it just came to me. I was like, oh yeah, that's probably why. So.
Right. Yes, people are people are really taking this time to embrace that.
Yeah.
As well.
So you had mentioned are we covering all the things that you want to? I sometimes birdwalk on topics, so.
Yeah, sure. You go ahead with whatever you'd like to share.
Oh yeah, no, I just want what I was struggling last week for a couple of days, even though I've been staying very positive and getting new program ideas. I get new business daily. Things keep changing. I mean, things keep moving and growing, and things are great. But I noticed that I felt really heavy and sad for a couple of days and almost slightly depressed. And I was like, what the heck? What is that? Because I've been feeling awesome. And I noticed that I was plugging into the news more as a source, just for briefly in the morning. And I said, I don't usually do that. I wasn't getting up, working out, doing my normal meditation, getting my hair and makeup done. I just was like, whatever. I don't have calls today. I can just be laissez-faire, whatever. But I think that really makes an impact. And it's just it's not that you have to go back to the norm, but it's okay, how do I want to live my day-to-day life? And then how do I want my day to look? And personally, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:15, working out, having some alone time, getting my breakfast in, getting ready, and then everybody's up, like that really does bring me joy. It doesn't like be like, oh God, I have to get up. Like that really does bring me joy. So I was like, oh, I'll just sleep in. I'll just do this. And I think paying attention to really how do you want your day to be and what really does bring you joy, and then going and following those little nudges and inclinations, and then just being that, I think will help. It helps me. I did it before. I took 2 days off, felt the blah, and shifted right back into it. So I hope that maybe that'll help others as well.
Yeah, no, I think so. Because I know a lot of people I've spoken with have expressed that they have felt some ups and downs, and would have that day where they just didn't feel,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
joyful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just we still have to embrace our emotions and recognize them,
Mm-hmm.
and not try to hide them or push them away, because they will surface. So you need to actually feel the emotions and let them go through you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you talk about how you plugged into the news, or even social media too, there's different things you can see there that might trigger you.
Mm-hmm.
And I found the same for me, that if something triggers me that way, and then my thoughts start going to, all this like worry of the future and things like that, then it
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't serve me at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a book, The Joy of Genius by Gay Hendricks. And in there, he's like, when we're truly trying to live in our zone of genius, and that's kind of his word for living your chosen path, living your purpose is your zone of genius. It's like, are you worried about the past? Are you worried about the future? Or are you worried about what other people are thinking about you? And those 3 avenues will get you off from your joy of genius, your zone of genius, your path, your whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I think when we try to focus on, because I was walking with a friend and she was concerned about, months, years from now, getting to do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, all we got is this walk, let's just focus on this walk, or so.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. It's worry has never served anybody well.
It doesn't. No.
All it does was, cause you anxiety and lost sleep and whatever. But how many times do you worry about something that never happens?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just, that's why right now, just it's best to be present and take it day by day.
Mm-hmm.
And decide what you want to do. Like you say, structure your day. What do you want your day to look like? And then
just do it.
And then gratitude is another important part.
Yes. Yeah. One of the principles that I live by, there's 9 principles that Spirit gave me. Side note, my husband gave me a hard time of not having any principles to stand on. And then I went to like a spiritual gathering. This was years ago when I first started my business. And the word that I drew was principle. And so I was like, all right, Spirit, I got it. I got to learn these principles. So I asked, and Spirit's like, you have 9. And I was like, what? 9? Oh my gosh. One of them is living in gratitude, but it really does make a difference. And it's not just this attitude of gratitude, but like, what are my intrinsic values that I love and appreciate and are grateful for about me? And that's what really shifts and elevates me, is being like, okay, I'm grateful for this breath that I have. I'm grateful for the strength. I'm grateful for my mind. I'm grateful for my happiness. I'm grateful that I am powerful. I'm grateful that I'm connected. I'm grateful, whatever, but that's like a daily practice. It's become so integrated into my being that like when I wake up in the morning, that's the first thing that I start doing is like, okay, I'm grateful for this and thankful, and I just start thinking about everything that I'm thankful for.
Right. Yeah. And I've heard that from so many people that, that the difference that makes. And especially now as we're going through this, there's so much to be grateful for. even as we are staying home in our, in our homes, and not necessarily getting to see the people that you'd want to, you're not getting out to see people in person, and not getting out to restaurants and that kind of thing. But we are here in our homes. We have, we have food, water, shelter, whatever you want to say, but also we have the technology that we're able to do this, to connect with people online, and we have everything you possibly want to learn. You can learn, online as well. So there's so much to be grateful for.
And you were talking about groups. There's a Life Mastery Foundation, and they put together a mental health summit, and it's starting May 5th through the 7th. And so if anybody wants more information about that, I could always just send it to you. But I thought that was a pertinent thing, a very, very timely thing for now, for them to do that. So we were connected. I was connected to them via the Global Femme City. Violet had connected us. And
okay. It's that's definitely an important thing, because mental health is the whole side of things right now with people, especially when you're isolated in your home alone. So many people are alone, and some people don't. Some people, when I do have to go back to it, some people don't have the technology. Like my in-laws don't even have internet. So they have nothing. They're cut off really from, we drop the groceries to them and everything, but they don't have that connection. And so it's important. So I will put the information for that mental health summit underneath this interview, as well as your contact info and everything.
I'll send that to you then. So
okay, all right. Well, I think we've gone through our time pretty quickly. So
well, thank you so much for having me be your guest. And
thank you, Sarah.
Yes, I hope that everyone who tunes in stays healthy and happy, and that there's some spark of intuitive genius that comes, and there's some solution to COVID-19. May there's a vaccine or just some sort of solution. I don't have that right now, but that's what I hope.
No, but I do believe we're going to get through it, and the whole world is going to be, we're going to be more compassionate humans going forward, and really appreciate the little things that we may have taken for granted before. That I do feel, and especially we will really appreciate those hugs in person when we can actually go to networking events and see people in person again, and when the grandparents can see their grandchildren again and in person, and so on. So
yes, well, thank you so much, and so much love to you.
Thank you, Sarah. That was great. Thank you for your time, and we will talk to you later. All right, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.